you get lawn darted by Kevin Nash against the trailer. That's probably the most violent moment throughout the whole thing. And I mean lawn darted. You're thrown at a parallel to the ground into a trailer.
Yeah. I do remember coming out of the trailer.
Yeah.
Jumping on the rail and thinking, I'm going to take Kevin Nash down with this crossbody. And of course, that didn't happen.
You tried, though.
But you think about that and you're like, that was a moment that was kind of stamped for that era.
It's crazy,
which
too.
is crazy.
And all the things you do, and then that's a piece of it, you know?
Right. Were you passionate about wrestling from the moment you found out what it was?
From the jump, yeah.
From the jump right away?
Well, so I knew, because my dad I wasn't seeing him actively wrestle, but I knew he was a wrestler. I'd seen the belts. I mean, this was like really early. I'd seen some of the different wrestlers around the house. The first time I went to a show where I was allowed to go sit down in the crowd without him, or I had Doug Dillinger printed me a pass at UTC Chattanooga. I went out. Brad Armstrong hit a arm drag on somebody, and the place lost their mind.
How old were you?
7.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was the first time I lost interest in the backstage of it. I became I think because I was living in the backstage of it already.
Right.
That I became just interested in I want to see what's out here. Sting. This is, you know, the early 90s WCW before Hogan comes in and before the Monday Night Wars really pick up. But that era of WCW was...
And you were already watching glances of it on TV?
So I was already, a lot of VHS. I had a lot of VHS in the house. A lot of Titan video. That was, I didn't have access to, I didn't even know USA, the channel at the time, existed. So it was mainly WCW, Saturday night. You're watching short squash matches, the good promos, and then a little bit of B-roll from something bigger, or a call to action for the pay-per-view. But that early 90s WCW was it for me. And then Blockbuster and Hollywood Video, those were the spots where I started seeing SummerSlam 92 and the WWE, and there were such vast differences in terms of the productions, you know?
What about Dustin? Like, when did you find out that
So Dustin is same in that Brad Armstrong slot. Dustin, I remember seeing him at the Omni as the Natural.
Right.
And hearing all the women go crazy for him, and just seeing how good he was, him and Stunning Steve, and the stuff they were doing. And they were even as a kid, you knew they were the young guys on the show. You knew they were the young guys, and they were almost presented for you in that stage of WCW. But I don't give Dustin enough credit. Dustin's one, like, I'm due for a lot of moments where I need to tell Dustin how important he is, how valuable he is. A lot of time could be spent on a therapist couch about me just learning to express a gratitude for my older brother that I just don't know how to do. I'm terrible at it. But
I'm the same way. I'm the youngest out of 4. So so, we don't know how to express sometimes.
And that's the one.
We're good at telling other people, but not them directly.
It's almost like, please, you heard me say it, right? I said it. You don't
take it.
You don't need to hear it, you know? Dustin was amazing. Also, you know, I don't know if you felt this with anyone in your family, but Dustin was fundamentally just so much better than I was. Fundamentally. Trained better, cleaner, knew how to do an inside-out bump. Just like things that I was so wanting, and just takes time. Takes time. You don't want your older brother to like see you take time. You want to just be there. But yeah, he's
so you say that was the age of 7. What age was it when you started training? Like
started training 14.
14?
Dusty had,
and then you started wrestling. So 7 years later.
Yeah, so I was classic South Park episode style of I got into amateur wrestling. Not aware that there's a big difference. And then I like fell in love with it, which thank gosh. Because once you realize like there's no steel chairs and mask and stuff, then it has its own culture. But I got really into wrestling. I did it mainly because no one in my family had done it. Dusty and Dustin hadn't been folk style wrestlers, so I thought I'll have a thing.
Something different.
I'll have a little leg up, right? 14, I started training because he had his indie promotion, or when he would do shows, I'd get in the ring, run the ropes. Wasn't supposed to take bumps, but he taught me how to take a bump. I only ever got in the ring with my dad twice. And during training, he just told me to charge him. He picked me up for a body slam. He slammed me. And then he told me to...
Stiff?
Very. And then he told me to charge him again with my arm hooked like this, and he hip tossed me. Very stiff. And it was just to see, hey, how hard this is. Like, that was all. He wasn't going to give me more than those 2 bumps.
Yeah.
But I think he thought, see, it's not all that, it's not all that great. Because that body slam was, now that I think about it, he tossed me into the mat.
I went through the same training regimen with my uncle. But I was about 7, 8 years old when I started training.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to parallel your, like, what age you started watching and then started training, then eventually started wrestling. Yeah, I was like the kid in a amateur class, like 8 years old, and the youngest kid after me was probably 16, 17. So I was just invited to be part of the class because my uncle was one of the teachers.
Open
But
that door
every
for you.
time my uncle had a chance to get his hands on me,
He'd had to, right? Or they said they had to.
no, they didn't.
In hindsight, I'm like, did you really?
But I'm glad they did.
Yeah, but I also am glad,
I'm glad they did.
So when I was officially training in the summers, I was 15, and the rule was I wasn't supposed to have matches. But what would happen is my dad would pop his head in. We had one ring that Jody Hamilton sold us. And we had one ring. He'd say, all right, guys, I'm going to go in the office for a little bit. And it's almost like he knew. And then it's the moment the door shut, Scotty Riggs and Big Ron Stud, not Big John, they'd start just back me up in the corner, chop me, shoot me across the ring, do full pinning combinations. And then, like, all of a sudden, he'd pop his head back in the door. Hey, guys, how's it going? And then we're just in the ring, like, sweating profusely, like, all right. But it was, I'm positive he knew what I was doing, but that was my first little taste, and I was addicted. I didn't want to, high school be damned at that point. It's like, what are we doing here? You know, like.
Right now that you're telling me that, right before I got cleared from my injury, I went up to the PC in Orlando, and my daughter has been asking me, Dad, I want to go in the ring.
This is Aalyah?
Aalyah.
Okay.
I want to jump in the ring. I just want to see what it feels like. Like, I'll do it when you graduate.
Yeah.
So she graduated in June from UCSD, human biology. And she goes, okay, I graduated. When are you gonna take me? When are you gonna take me? I said, I'm actually gonna head up to the PC, so I'll book our flights and you can go up there with me. So Angie, Aalyah, and myself flew up. She went in there on a Wednesday with me, and I was like, there's no way. Like, this is your first time stepping in the ring. She had a connection with just positioning, hitting the ropes. Like, that is scary crazy.
So she genuinely had the connection. She wasn't sidebar training.
No, she just went in there with me to feel what it was like, to feel the mat, to feel the ropes.
She was a natural.
And I'm afraid that she might be if she decides to take that path. So later on that day, we went to TJ and Natty's school, Dungeon. And she did a little bit there too. And when we finished and the day was over, she goes, I really enjoyed it. Like, this is really fun.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, no.
Okay. Okay.
No.
Yeah, so.
Kind of goes the opposite way. You think it's going to be like, oh, it's too stiff. I'm not
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought, I don't think she's going to like it because the ropes are stiff. The bumps are hard.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, the next step would be, let's see if you can go through a full week of training.
Yeah.
And if you can do that and you like it afterwards, then maybe it's something you might want to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We're approaching the full week coming up, right?
yes, I'm actually trying to get her out there pretty soon so she can just feel what it's like to train every day.
Good luck.
Wake up.
Yeah.
Work
Eat,
out
sleep.
all day.
Yep.
Sleep.
Yeah.
Back. Same thing.
Dude.
Yeah. That's insane. Like, I've thought about that, and
Did you
it scares me, but it also excites me.
Did you have any clue? Like, or was it kind of out of nowhere? Hey, I'm ready to go.
She had been telling me this for about a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay.
Like, Dad, I want to go in the ring. I'm like, I don't know. And then I kept pushing it back. Wait until you graduate. When you graduate, I'll take you. And as soon as she graduated, she goes, okay, I graduated. Here's my diploma. Take me. When are you gonna take me?
Oh, man.
PC, let's go. Yeah.
That's so exciting.
It is. It is. It is.
It's another one that I'm ready to defend.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm excited for that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
We were talking about TJ and Natty School and being a natural. So I will say there's a funny. I wrestled my first technical match at OVW.
Okay.
But that's 20 years old, and I'm talking about 15 wrestling these matches at school. And I remember I had my first match in St. Therese in this church. There's literally maybe 20 people. It was one of OVW's.
First match?
Yeah, that was my first match.
In a church?
In a church.
My first match was outside a church.
Yeah.
Parking lot.
There's something about,
I love it.
So I had this first match, and it was better than most first matches should be. And Miz basically held a talent meeting in the locker room. Like, this is ridiculous. He's had training. Why are we acting like he's not had training? He's doing full blown. He's hitting the ropes. He went on this whole bit, and he wasn't
this pre-Miz or
this is pre him becoming the Miz.
Okay.
But he was
legit.
He was always the Miz, if that makes any sense. He's like, I can't believe it. This guy's not getting in the ring on drills that he should be doing. He was like kind of hot about it. I was like, I'm sorry, man. Like, because that's what the old time guys had told you, like, don't always show your cards there. You're going there, you're learning from them.
Right.
Train day one, and that's how I went. But I had all that experience, like with the power plant guys and all that. Yeah, no, but Miz threw a whole fit about it. He still does. Like, I know he had a match before.
Have you talked about that?
All the time. Yeah, Miz is always like, it was like, because I did a springboard.
I'm gonna give him shit now.
Yeah,
I will give him shit.
Bro, I did a springboard, and I remember he's like, hold up. Because he had been trying to do a springboard. Because that's a hard, like, once you figure it out, you figure it out. But at first, it's a fear
tricky,
of, oh my gosh.
Yeah.